Hey, good morning everybody. Today is May 9th, 2021, and we're going to be taking a look at some altcoins. So we're going to pop over to TRON first because I have it up on the board. And we're on lower level time frames. But on the hourly on TRON, what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a break of resistance right here, which is this line. This line was some pretty good support, was broken down, showed heavy resistance, and right now we're trying to wick against it and break into it. We have a lot of room on the RSI, and the MACD is starting to trend upwards, and could potentially, I think, yeah, it's going to cross over the zero mark for sure. So the signal is going to be going over. So I actually think that this is bullish, but only at the close above this silver line at 248 Satoshis on TRON. And that's on the hourly. On the 4-hour, we did have our long trade activated with the 2 going above 1 back here at 245. So you're not really missing much. I mean, this is what, 248? Yeah, you're 3 Satoshis off. You're about 1% away from an entry. On the daily has pulled back enough. And the reason I say that is because of where it is on the RSI. This is kind of showing some pretty good support. And we're close enough to have actually wicked into the 30 period moving average. And that's usually bullish. Now, I was actually extremely bullish right up here. And I almost took a position at this 292 area. Because the break of previous highs is always bullish. The only problem that happened was we didn't really have much room to go because the RSI was touching the overbought region. Now, the MACD is basically reset. The RSI is reset. So this is looking like a good entry point. I may be taking a trade over here in this area. I may be entering at that 249 on the hourly. Now, my target here is actually not that high. I'm going to actually just take a fib extension and you'll take a look. So it's not really that high. I'm only looking for maybe a quick scalp, maybe 255. Maybe 255, maybe 266. So this would be a leveraged trade with a really tight stop loss sitting down here at 238. So that's enough for TRON. Ontology is the other one that I wanted to look at. Now, I would be bullish on Ontology, but the fact that it's on an 8 is a little bit of a concern for me. That's a little too late in the game, and the fact that we're also bearishly diverging on the RSI. These are signals for me that this didn't play out the way I was hoping it would. But now what I have is a situation where I think that we're going to play out here and come back and test this purple area at 3,100. I don't know when we're going to do it. Maybe 3,100, it may be all the way over here in July after a bigger run up. If there's a 2 going above a 1 on the 9 on the daily on this, that's a different story. Looking at the weekly, if it's at a 3, but it's at a 7. So, and you can tell that we got stopped out by this right here. So, the volume is telling me to be really bullish. The RSI is telling me we still have room to the upside. There is potential here. The daily is on an 8. It's not telling me good things. The 4-hour is on a 5. And it's still going. So I do see potential here for a further run up. I'm just not convinced yet. The daily is where I think the pullback needs to happen, and I would like a 1 to 4 candle pullback deep at a minimum, and deep in the sense that I want the pullback to come all the way back down and touch this 32.91 area. That would be a decent spot for me for an entry. This purple line would be more ideal, but that's not always going to be the case, and I would settle for starting to ladder my entries in right here. All right, going over to Theta is not interesting. BAT is not interesting. Let me load one other chart, and then we're going to go take a look at Litecoin. Metablock may be interesting. We'll talk about that in a second. Cardano is the one that's piquing my interest. And the reason Cardano is making me interested is because this move to the upside is not like the other ones. This RSI is not diverging. This RSI is just going up. And we have the potential, if you run faster and faster, to just make a higher RSI pull. Now, where do I think we're going to be in this, by the end of this? I'm not 100% sure, but to me this looks like a cup and a handle. So that's another thing to pay attention to. It's a tiny cup and handle, but if I go to the 4 hour, it'll play out a little bit better where you clearly have the handle. So this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the cup formation there, and then a little handle right there. So for me, this is really bullish. It's not a perfect cup and handle because it doesn't have that perfect rounding bottom, but it definitely has two highs that really basically stopped out at the same spot, followed by a dip, followed by another high, which is a triple top in a sense. And so this triple topping area is what is breaking. And so the target on this is extremely high. Like if we're going to take the conservative target on this from here to just here, like we're going to say that's that, and you know what, I have to give it to here for it to make more sense. That's still a really, really nice swing to the upside on Cardano. I mean, that puts you in the 40s. The 40s on Cardano is looking really, really likely. So Cardano's bull run is coming. That's a 33% move to the upside, which I think that's justifiable. The interesting thing is it also sets you up here, and what we have is a fractaling pattern, which would then occur where we end up with something like this. And Control Z that. Where we end up with something like this occurring. So I just want you to know that this is kind of what we're seeing right now. It's not gonna, it could turn into a cup and handle. Could. Or an inverted head and shoulders. Because there's a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder. So these are all massive plays. And again, that would take you back to all-time high territory. So this thing right here is a much longer view. Much, much longer. And we can actually get rid of all these arrows. We don't need this stuff anymore. That was just a quick lesson. So, yeah. So there it is. It looks like the formation of what could be a cup has happened. And now we need to see what is going to occur here if we're going to have a little handle form in this area after a run up to this 38 area. A pullback maybe to 29, maybe all the way to 28, and then another rally followed by another breakout. So the fractaling, you even have a cup and handle forming on the RSI. This is all very interesting. So that's Cardano. Very, very bullish on Cardano, short term, medium term, and long term. All right, Metablock may be done going down. And the reason I say that is because these massive sell-offs that are clearing the order book, they're getting shallower. And not just that, we're having a lot of trouble piercing through this area. And we're doing it we made a higher high. And we're looking at potentially making a higher low close. And so the higher low close is what I'm most interested in. Now, it really hasn't been long since we've had our correction, but it's a 1 to 4 candle correction coming off the 9. So 1, 2, 3, and I mean, if you count the 9, you're on your 5th candle, which is bad. But if you count the candles after the 9, this is your 4th candle. And this decreasing volume is really telling me that whatever's happening to the price, it's taking less and less momentum to really just play in this area. So sellers are getting exhausted and bulls are just waiting to step in. And this is a bull market. So in the middle of a bull market, my default condition is that we're bullish. And so this is obviously a bullish run up. And you can do whatever type of Elliott wave analysis you want, but this, to me, looks like something that's about to reverse. It's giving me all the signs of something that can reverse. It's bottomed on the RSI on the 4-hour. I don't know how high it can go. Oh, look at that. We're on a 9 on the 4-hour. Okay, yeah. So this is very, very bottomy to me. I think this is a spot that I am typically considering entering. Let's put it that way. So I'm very, very interested in potentially entering a small position right here. I don't know if I'm going to do it. If I do, I'll probably let you know tomorrow. But that's Metablock. All right, now let's go over to Litecoin. So Litecoin pumped. Litecoin pumped right here. It broke out of this triangle. And so I've been prematurely drawing triangles because I've been trying to figure out where tops and bottoms can be and where's good, where my technicals would batch up in like perfect scenarios. So this triangle drawing, in my opinion, is a little premature, but I drew it anyway because I wanted to put the horizontal and I wanted to put the diagonal down, at least as a reference area for me to choose a target. Now, because we're correcting right here, which I think is fine. Truth be told, I think it's fine to just go sideways here as long as we're above this purple line. Which is what else I want to say is that we're on a green 3 on the hourly. 7 bars from now would be ideal to do a touch of this ascending trend line and this purple horizontal support. That would be the ideal. 7 hours from the 3, so 6 hours from the 4, including the 4. So that would be ideal. That would be 352. I would then like to see a nice kind of, just one of those quick surges back up to here, followed by a back test down here, maybe in this area to retest support on this, unless this is going to be the retest on support on that. If that's the case, then we can just ride like this the entire way across. And I'm completely fine with that. Now, like I said before, my position entries were, I would suppose they're somewhere in this area if you were going by the cash value, because I really don't trade the cash value. I'll go over to the Bitcoin chart, though. This is the Bitcoin chart on the 5-minute. It's a little bit too low. The Bitcoin chart's telling me we still have more upside. So we still have more room on the upside to go in this channel. And we have plenty of room left on the RSI on the 4-hour. We've had our bullish run. My entries were all back in here. Actually, like right here was where I was entering because I was expecting that to be the channel. That didn't turn out to be the channel. This did. So now what I'm hoping to see is potentially a move up here, followed by a little bit of a retracement and make a cup and handle, or make an inverted head and shoulders pattern. No, I don't want an inverted head and shoulders pattern. It's a little too screwed up with this right here. Like if this pump right here didn't exist, we could do the head and shoulders. But again, you had your 9, you had a 1 to 4 candle correction, you had 2 candles of pullback after a monstrous pullback and a reversal on this 1, which is bullish. And now you have your 4 going up. Your 4 is actually really, really, really strong. And this is happening at the same time as Bitcoin's pulling back a little bit in price, which is good. So that's kind of what I want to see, is the divergence between Bitcoin and Litecoin. Going over to the weekly, what you're seeing here is one of the things I needed, which is the close above this yellow. I need us to close the weekly candle above this yellow. We can get close to it, but we need to be above it. And the reason for that is because I think this weekly 5 is mimicking this weekly 3. It's just not as pronounced, but the next candle is going to be a blow off top looking candle. And that's where I'm looking to potentially take some profit over here at this 200 period moving average. So I'm really, really paying attention to that. The 3-day chart, I don't really use that often. The 3-day is a little bit more interesting for this purpose. And that's because this happened on an 8 and a 9. So this was, you would be expecting a 1 to 4 candle pullback. But the reason I wanted this 3-day was to look at where the 200 period moving average is. And so this happened on an 8 and 9 on a 3-day. The 200 period average, we broke that on a 9. Or on a, well, we had a 1, so we didn't actually get the count. But we did break it on a 2 going above a 1 going above what could have been a 9. And this is all bullish looking to me. So this structure right here is very bullish. We have no divergence on the RSI. These are the types of things I'm looking for. On the 3-day, I'm not even potentially interested in taking profit until I'm in this 1151 to 2056 area. But on the weekly, that's a different story. I'm looking at potentially getting caught here and then potentially having a pullback down here followed by some movement up. I don't know if we're going to just have a vertical shot like this. I would like to see it, but we're a little too different in the RSI and everything like that. Like, we're a little more, and maybe it's the market cap too. The market cap is so much larger compared to last time. Because, I mean, this is the price. This is the previous all-time high in price relative to Bitcoin. This is almost the previous all-time high in cash. And this is nowhere near its previous all-time high compared to Bitcoin. Or its previous high price compared to Bitcoin. So I do not know. This could be a very, very good long-term investment for the next 2 months. Or we could see maybe one more consecutive 9. Oh, that's another thing. So I am expecting not just 1 9 count to the upside. I'm expecting at least 2 or 3. I'm expecting to be either a double or a triple 9 count to the upside. Because I think the time horizon is shifting on this. I was originally thinking 2 months, but because we've stagnated here for 1, 2, 3 weeks, I'm thinking that we're going to have this pattern play out of stairs stepping to the upside, which is actually better than this vertical move. The stair stepping is going to give me potential bounce areas as I arbitrage between the two assets. All right, everybody, that's about all I have to say for today. Bitcoin's not looking interesting. It's just pulling back into the triangle. Hopefully, another thing on Ethereum before I go. So this is Ethereum right now. It's about almost at 4,000 US dollars. This is the area where I'm actually looking at if I was going to sell my Ethereum at 0.86. If I was trading this asset, that's the area I'm looking at. However, the Ethereum USD chart is much more of a problem for me. And it's making me very, very concerned. And I'll show you exactly why in 1 second. So the hourly isn't interesting. It's the weekly chart that's the problem. And the weekly chart is, the problem is this. So let's throw horizontal rays. Everything was fine here. And even then, you could argue that everything was good in this spot right here. Because you could argue this was the previous topping right there. So you could argue that's phase one. You could argue that might be phase two, even though it's a little bit steep. You could argue that's phase three. That's definitely a 3. And then that's 4. Like, there's no other way to put that. That's a phase 4. That's pretty much... That's the phase 4 of a hyperwave happening right there. Short phase 2, short phase 3, long phase 4. These parabolic runs usually only have one ending, and it's bad. So my hope is that what you have is a repeat of what happened with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin did a similar parabolic run, and that is you get stuck consolidating in the cash market on Ethereum for 3 to 4 months, which is exactly what just happened to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been consolidating for 3+ months, which is why my price target keeps increasing drastically. The same thing could happen with Ethereum, where if we get stuck here and we go flat all the way to touch this phase 3 line again, and we come back to right on this, then we're okay. What I don't want to see is I don't want to see another continuation and go past $5,000. I don't want to see us go past much more than like 4,200, to be honest. And I have some rationale for that, but I really don't want to see much more than 4,200 on Ethereum right now. I want to see us go flat, because otherwise we're going to have a potential situation with an overstretch followed by a 5, a 6, and then a 7. And a 7 is going to take you all the way down to like $600. A real 7 actually may take you down all the way to like... I don't know if you'll get to 400. I think this phase 2 line is probably... It might take you all the way down to like $1,200. Let's put it that way. Like a phase 7 could take you all the way down to $1,200. Because I don't think your phase 1 is going to hold. I don't think we're going to come back and touch that. If we touch phase 1, it's over. It's completely over. And this is long enough, you know, this is 3 years of consolidation to sit there and say, okay, we've broken out of it. You know, honestly, like a really good spot to pick up was right here at the break, right here at 372. That's actually a really, really good buy. This initial break was a good buy, except I would have been stopped out. I would have been gone. I would have been gone from that market. All right, that's enough for now. And everyone have a wonderful Sunday, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow with traditional markets and Bitcoin.